So Shamans have finally got their changes. Pretty much the last class to be looked at. That being said, this isn't final. They actually posted that they know that it's not complete, and there will be some changes next week. I think that was probably good for Word Up's blood pressure, because it seemed like there was a few things that were, initially a bit alarm bells. So it's good that we can expect something. Probably tomorrow, isn't it? Usually Tuesdays?
Tuesday night, yeah. It's Tuesday night, and I know this very, very well because usually, like, I'll, for Monday, I'll prep stream or stuff like that, or, when we streamed on Friday, Monday would be getting ahead of the week, and then on Tuesday it'd be like, okay, I end up working fairly late most nights and, like, starting kind of late because I'm a nightmare, but it would be like, okay, well, I've got some time out, I've got the evening, it's time to hop on to beta and go record footage or go find things to talk about, and then the servers will go down. I'm like, you mother, every week. Why have I not learned this yet? So it's definitely it's a Tuesday night most of the times it actually goes through. So we'll expect to see the fixes, the problems here solved, especially because the feedback has been very heavy, very, very fast. But with like Word Up and a lot of like the Shamans waiting, they've all been primed to pounce. Just watching, like, as soon as you make a move, Blizzard, we will be on you.
So as fun as Tank is, should we?
Yeah, let's talk about
first. Word Up, ready to pounce. I mean, you've hyped me up for this.
Yeah. So realistically, I'll talk about the major changes first, and ultimately that is Sky Fury, which is just you get a
pretty big. Pretty big.
It's Wind Fury, but not a totem.
Yeah, 2% mastery and the chance for your auto attacks to have a 20% instant strike again for an hour.
Wind Fury, which is obviously a melee favorite buff. Obviously,
good if you're a hunter.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is also interesting for given mastery and being raid wide instead of party wide, so no more feathering around with party comps, which I feel is largely speaking something they've not really wanted to support in a long time. It's just Wind Fury Totem has very much of a I guess like a lingering kind of legacy element to it in that.
And I guess the weird thing, you think about multi-strike. God, remember that. Crit 2. Oh, the multi-strike.
Crit 2 is actually like, I know that people memed on it as Crit 2, but having a crit that's Crit 2, but you're allowed to have different like modifiers on it. It can bounce off crit in its own way and have different visual effects if you go for it, which did at the time. Yeah. It's way, like, multi-strike is way better than like FF's direct hit, which is like, would you like crit or other crit? And then you've
what?
FF14 has critical hit and direct hit.
What's direct hit?
It's basically crit 2, which means you've got direct crits, which are the big ones, and then you end up, the double nature of that is what ultimately a lot of like the high optimization things end with. If you direct crit your big hitting move, like, for example, your Madari Setsugeki as a samurai or your Shosho Ranru as a ninja, then you're looking at, that was a huge amount of damage variance. And it, without much flavor to it. But anyway.
So when you think about that, you think about Wind Fury, you think about Enhancement Shaman, but this is in fact for all Shamans.
Yeah, which is interesting. It's literally Wind Fury is now a raid buff and you can give it to everyone in the raid, and also Enhancement Shamans don't have the monopoly on it anymore, which means they don't have to press Wind Fury Totem. They're generally quite happy. But it also means that an Ellie Sham can take the lunch. Or a rest of Sham.
Yep.
Which in the world where I think we're a little bit struggling with like the very nature of meta and how strong World of Warcraft is now, as it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger, I think in a bunch of ways, like tied to meta.
Yeah.
So maybe this will change with Delves a little bit, being a little bit more, do whatever you fancy or whatever. But with M plus being like the primary mode, and I'd say the amount of variance that comes from meta comps versus not, I think is kind of the problem that they've run into, where now they kind of don't get to, this fighting over raid buffs continues to be a frustrating part of making sure people bring everyone. In a way, it's kind of like,
it's a weird dimension to the game. It's understandable, but odd.
Yeah, it's very, there's a core problem they cannot solve by design, so they're like trying to figure things around, figure things out within the sphere of what they are allowed to change.
So that's the big headline thing.
People are, generally speaking, outside of enhancements, kind of going, God damn it, where's my, you've stolen my rebuff. Outside of that, people are generally happy. Happy.
For the class tree, they say they've reduced the node count of defensive and throughput ones to have most of the decision making in the tree being different bits of utility.
Yes, I haven't looked at it in a great amount of detail because the Shaman class tree is gigantic, but I definitely kind of like it at a glance, mostly because things like Gust of Wind, Spirit Walk, they used to be really far deep down the bottom right of the tree. And it was a pain in the ass to get to, but now it feels like they're definitely substantially way more freed up to pick whatever they want, which is good because Shamans have maybe one of the most utility-filled trees in a bunch of different ways. Stuff like Poison Cleansing Totem, and then, they lost their Earthen Wall. Or Earthen Wall, sorry. What was it called? Because Earthen Wall or Earthen Shield is the resto one. They had a group defensive totem at the very bottom, middle. It's been replaced with Stone Bulwark, which is a personal defensive. And it used to be really hard to get everything you wanted, like extremely hard. But now, if you're willing to sacrifice things like Poison Stones Consume, yes, you can now get a whole load of you can basically get not everything you want, but you can get all of the core and important stuff pretty handily, which I think looks very, very nice.
Good.
And all their defensives.
Enhancement.
Yes.
I think the word generally had been that enhancement, by the end of Dragonflight, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in a great spot, and I think some of the tier sets towards the end were very, very, very good. It made it feel excellent. That was the one with, if I remember correctly, they had a whole bunch of their cooldown reduction for feral spirits, meaning that you kind of had a nice flat damage profile a lot of the time, but a pretty high damage profile.
Yeah.
And then you had things like you could talent into Ascendance if you wanted big burst, and you obviously had, Lust for Burst in personal cases and things like that, so it was actually very, very strong. But hero talents kind of threw that into a little bit of a what do call good spot. And now good spot doesn't necessarily mean meta. It means good spot design wise more than anything else, which is what I'm more concerned about. So it was very well actually designed to play and build, and it was really fun. It accomplished all those goals. Maybe it needed stuff like extra defensives and things like that, because just having Nature's Guardian, sort of Ancestral Guidance, and Astral Shift being pretty strong, but not really that versatile compared to some others. But were obviously kind of smaller issues, which they've sort of fixed with, their changes to the class trees in a little bit. But generally speaking, it was very fun. But hero talents kind of threw that a little bit into the bin by emphasizing different things a little bit too much and kind of messing with the builds a little bit. And then now, of course, you ended up with these changes. They've kind of shuffled some things around that hasn't worked out super well for the hero talent builds, and it's kind of made things a little more difficult to get everything you want. But one of the other problems with
do you feel the next design iteration then would be
probably
tidying that
probably
up?
maybe the hero talents also aren't really the best. They're really cool in fantasy and in theory, but in play they're not super amazing, at least as far as I can tell. And one of the other things and this is where the problems come in with the changes, where they were largely left behind in some of these changes, where, as obviously pointed out, they have 9 2-point nodes in expansion, where no one has more than 2 or 3 2-point nodes at most.
That's the number one thing for them to demolish.
Yeah, they have just 9, and it's difficult to get where you want to be. It's difficult to get where you want to be. Your actual choice between how you build is diminished as a result, and it just doesn't feel super fun to get into, which is frustrating. Maybe they'll fix that stuff up a little bit this week. I'm assuming they will, because they know what they know what they're doing, and they've been able to see the success in other trees and go, well, obviously, why is the elemental tree seen as better? Why is the resto tree seen as better? Just replicate that. And then we can fix balance sort of after the fact, which is, I think, some of the problem, where it's kind of like the order of what they do, where sometimes they go, or sometimes you'll feel like they're going, oh, well, you can't give us more talents because then you'll break the build. And it's just balance it for it. Literally just give us the fun build to balance it down, which is one of the things. That's frustrating, which is annoying, because it was kind of don't fix when you're broken in a super big way.
Which I guess they've mostly done, but
yeah.
we need to see if they stick the landing with this week's changes, basically.
Yeah,
okay, cool. Elemental. How are we doing?
Yeah, things like having your Lava Surge be baseline is very, very helpful, so you don't end up with the possibility to take a cursed build where you're like, Lava Burst? No, thank you. I don't know if that was in any capacity, useful or used, but you could just do that. you could make a really kind of, I'm taking none of the lava stuff and I'm just going full lightning, which is sort of fun.
Yeah,
you can have it. You can have it. That's a focus.
Flavor at least.
Yeah, you can focus on them now as opposed to being just completely abandoning the whole thing. Things like they've got some new cool things. Like it wasn't working on beta last I checked, but there was things like the new when your elemental expires, a lesser elemental joins you for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of padding out a little bit of that DPS thing and also being a little bit of cool flavor. And then the Ice Fury change was interesting as well, where Ice Fury used to, one of the problems, and I think this is something they should probably look at for Enhancement Shaman as well. How, I don't really know, but button bloat was a big problem with Elemental Shaman. And I know a lot of people like Ice Fury because it was pretty fun. Same with like electric shocks, or electrified shocks, I should say, which is a thing that buffs your nature damage after every frost shock after Ice Fury. But Ice Fury was an extra button, which then also put in not just an extra button by itself, but it also moved frost shock into your rotation.
Yeah.
So you take one talent and it throws you in another 2 buttons. So the reworked Ice Fury, so now your frost shock becomes Ice Fury. Sorry, no, I'm telling a lie. Is it frost shock? Why can I not remember? I'm pretty sure it's frost shock becomes Ice Fury after you lava burst. After a lava burst procs. I need to double check it. I was looking at it last week. I was playing with it last week, and I've just completely forgotten because I spent my entire weekend playing FF14.
Oh,
yeah. So I just it's like, oh yeah, sorry, World of Warcraft is out of my brain for a wee bit until I bring it back. Let me just look at it real quick. Yeah, it replaces the Frost Shock with Ice Fury. So you just put Frost Shock in your bar. If you take Ice Fury, you don't need an extra button, which is very nice. It does come with the unfortunate... the positive thing of that is that the Ice Fury is now instant cast instead of
that's nicer.
Being a hard cast like it was. But it's now the next 2 Frost Shocks instead of 4. So people are losing 1 instant GCD. Well, in 2 cases, they're losing 1 instant GCD of movement, which is frustrating because, you want movement in this game now because it's getting insane. A lot of cases, you'll see like ranged who have to hard cast, a lot are kind of like struggling. So you lose 1 GCD of movement, and also you like lose the reliability of it. Where if you had a movement window coming up, you could hold Ice Fury for a bit. Sure, you might lose a bit of damage, but you're going to gain damage because you're going to be able to move. You're going to actually plan that window properly. But now you kind of can't because it procs, and if it doesn't proc, you can hold the proc for a while. But if you Ice Fury and then it's kind of that awkward thing. There is the Earthquake cast at your target, which is a nice QL thing, but also insane. Because let me, I'll sneak ahead a little bit. So don't look at half of this. But look at this.
Avert your eyes.
Earthquake. This spell is cast your target. This spell is cast select location. Same spell on a choice node.
They did that again.
Blizzard. They did it with Shadow Crash, and it's such an unbelievably insane idea. But they did that, which is like that's helpful and it's nice having a target.
Yeah, that's just
for
the UI
accessibility and playability, all sorts of things. And like, obviously, there's a case where you may want to manually hit the middle of like 4 mobs and there's no mob in the middle. But more often than not, you're going to hit all your mobs by just casting target. And if you wanted to, maybe macro this, so you had the choice. No, sorry, it's a literal talent change, which is a little bit insane in my head, even though it'll be like a positive for most people. It's still like, what were you thinking doing that? Jesus Christ. So I'm not super sure about a lot of the rest of it, but I also generally speaking, I looked at the tray, I played them this is like a decently better version. There's some stuff missing that I like. Electrified Shock's been missing is kind of weird. The fact that Stormbringer still kind of goes, sorry, you're like the hero talent's just turning off half your tree effectively in terms of build is kind of awkward. But it's the opposite with Farseer, because you go Farseer and you go, oh, well, you're playing Primordial Wave Lava Burst. That's what you're doing. Or you're playing the other one and you're going, oh, you're playing full lightning build, which is fine, but also just a little bit you're losing a little tiny bit of your choice, which is just obviously there's an upside to it, downside to it. Yeah. So that's how elemental Shaman was.
Interesting.
Weaving between all the elements. No one's doing that. In a lava burst heavy build, that's like a flame shock spread. Maybe you take like Ice Fury, maybe, but generally speaking, you're probably going to go like, and this is the thing with all talents, you go, well, what's this? How do I go all in on this the whole way?
Yeah.
Which was even a problem with, it's even a little bit of a problem with Paladin, Red Paladin, for example, where maybe not, because now the rework tree you can get so much more, but it was like, do you take the Radiant or the Holy Strike? Pick one. Pick one and do that, because everything just doubles down and increases it.
For Resto, the one that caught my eye was the Spirit Link.
Oh, Spirit Link buffs?
Buffs.
Yeah. Spirit Link
just
is...
talent to get a better Spirit. And Spirit Link's already amazing.
Yeah. Spirit Link is great, and it's got the...
just like it activates and suddenly the power of Mats is here to save you.
Yeah, extra 5% damage reduction and also a heal, which I believe is straight from the, what I call it? From the... the Spouting Spirits Azurite trait, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Just remember BFA where Spirit Link was necessary. Enjoy Sky Fury, everyone, which is more or less like possibly there. I think there's still a little bit of work to do on those, but I definitely looked at the tray and went, this looks a lot nicer. Healing Rain, which now with the talent you drop Healing Rain, it auto heals Riptide targets, is very, very nice, especially when when you're trying to do things that are set up, like put down your Healing Rain, even if you're doing it offensively and trying to throw down your Healing Rain for your Acid Rain, they still try to turn around and go, okay, well, here you go. People are dying, but you want to get your healing prepped. Go for it. Healing Rain, get everyone ready to go. So that's quite nice. I did like you can pick Ascendance and Deeply Rooted Elements, which is nice because DRE is the Ascendance proc. So you're kind of chilling, having all this stuff, quite nice. And then Downpour. Downpour was another case. Shamans are just button blowed out the wazoo. They're button blowed out the wazoo, especially like just with their core rotations all the time, but also really badly with their utility. Because they have 1,000 totems that they can press. So they changed Downpour to now be, instead of its own button, it's a proc off Healing Rain. So you drop Healing Rain for the next X seconds, like 6 seconds, you can press it again to Downpour. Which is just the case of they're finding ways to go, this is really cool, but we don't want to get rid of it. We would like you to have to keep your button in some way. Which obviously, Ice Fury for Elemental, and then nothing for Enhancement. Just like, sorry, you like playing piano, please enjoy playing piano. Which is always fun enough when you're sat there with like
that's what they signed up for.
Yeah, you're sat there like firing out elemental blasts and then been like, oh hang on, I've got I've got my Maelstrom weapon stacks. What do? Do I Chain Lightning? Do I Lightning Bolt? Do I Elemental Blast? Oh Jesus Christ! Oh God! Oh God! I don't know. My flow chart, my gaming flow chart. I need to figure that back.
Oh, I couldn't be a flow charter.
I
think I
saw... World of Warcraft is a flowchart game, like...
Or, no, sorry, not flowchart. Do you know what? It was the graphic for Perfect Ninja openers.
Oh,
I remember seeing that and thinking, okay, well, that's... I'm not doing that.
I've been having the time of my life doing that. It's so good. I love playing Ninja. Ninja's the third least parses of DPS in it.
Makes sense.
In FF14, which is makes sense. The worst is Black Mage, which is not surprising at all, because Pictomancer is the better Black Mage. But I quite like the opener kind of stuff. I would almost, if I didn't dislike Rogue so much in general to play, because it's a way.
I always like the idea of playing Rogue more than I like playing Rogue.
Yeah, what if Feral Druid was actually just really flimsy and weak and shit? Cool, fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's basically the situation. Mm-hmm. We will see this week. Can I actually land it? Can it all be cocked up?
I'll look through for some other stuff that I kind of forgot. There's there's one really, really, really strong thing as well, which I will talk about. There's Elemental Resistance, which is healing from Healing Stream Totem, reduces fire, frost, and nature damage received by 6% for 3 seconds, and that's in the class tree. 6% damage reduction is nothing to fucking sneeze at. That's kind of crazy to have that on. I don't know how Healing Stream Totem behaves in a bunch of cases, but like being able to just hit, your Healing Stream Totem and go, the tank will take less fire damage, it's fine. Rogue is flimsy in what world? In the world where I'm comparing it to...
In the world where Matt's playing it.
Well, okay. In a world where I'm playing it, and in a world where I'm comparing it to a druid that can turn into a bear and also heal itself and also have renewal and also have, all the other things. But yes.
Shock Crimson Vial, bro.
Yeah. So, I mean, exactly. That's like Crimson Vial, or every time you spend 5 combo points, you get a free regrowth. Yeah. Okay. Sure. The Traveling Storm is very nice. Thunderstorm can, Shining Force. Remember Shining Force? You can now Thunderstorm an ally, and it sends people flying.
That should be useful for a certain Xal'atath.
No, because it. Actually, sorry. Yes, you're completely correct. Yes. Yes, you're completely correct.
Knocks him back.
Yeah, I was thinking like any time if you want to knock people further, that's just trolling, to be honest. Which is kind of, it'd be nice if because it's a choice node with the other one.
Well, actually, Eye of the Storm.
Yeah.
Eye of the Storm is going to be great with that.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Shining Force was. Just like High Explosive Trap is.
Yeah.
It's a choice node with the one that makes it a knock up around yourself. So obviously you're going to want that and run in on most of those things.
Yeah, but people know that's coming with a Shaman. If you can cast that on an ally and it'll bounce off enemies.
Yeah, but it's the PvP versus PvE choice, basically.
Yeah.
And then this one is really kind of stupid in how a good player using this will feel like a living god. Interrupting a spell with Wind Shear decreases your damage taken from that spell skill by 15% for 18 seconds, stacks twice. You interrupt some poor bastard twice, and they're doing 30% less damage to you with that spell skill. That is so nuts.
Yeah.
That is completely ludicrous. Like,
There is another side to all of this, and that is Retribution Aura.
Yes.
So I suppose kind of...
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know where you were in the thing. Whoops.
I'll continue going. There's plenty more stuff here, which is... I fear you get, cast a nature and a fire spell, so it's sort of, you weave your different things together to get that kind of thing going on.
Storm Frenzy should feel quite nice.
Sort of and sort of almost no, because you reduce your cast time of Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning too low with that, and it becomes, like, short in the GCD. So you don't go bam, you're still locked by GCD, which can happen. But it's all
I like how it should feel.
Yeah.
I like how it should feel.
Yeah, stuff like Ascendant having a go down to 2-minute cooldown or being a stronger cooldown is a nice choice, kind of like the Celestial Alignment versus Incarn choice that they have, which is some is generally quite nice. Quite nice. That's the thing that'll like people feel that.
Oh, so the trigger rate of Lava Surge and Searing Flames now scales based on the number of targets that Flame Shock is on in single target, more often AoE, bit less. That makes sense.
The problem was you'd be sitting there waiting for a Lava Surge on a boss, and like, where is it at? Where is it at? And then you turn around and go, oh, I've hit it on 3 dudes, and you're like, I can't cast anything else, which is nice. And there's a whole pile else. There's just a load of different changes happening all over the place. Things removed that are all stuff. Windspeaker's Lava Surge has been moved is interesting, as is Electrified Shocks. But there's like, we don't do that anymore. Sorry.
Enhancement.
Yeah.
7 things.
Yeah, which I think is funny. And then kind of sort of mostly similar stuff here. Yeah. Things like the Earth Shield being rewarded for refreshing it at lower stacks.
I thought that was cool.
Is quite nice versus the let it run out or, the waste of whatever. So stuff like that is fun. So a lot of like smaller changes, like Earth Living always getting extra stuff. I don't know, Healing Surge always triggering Earth Living is just a little bit of smaller, nicer fixes that people are going to like.
Assuming they can do a good job of refining the pain points that people talked about last week, then I think Shaman's in a pretty damn good place.
Yeah, Resto Shaman's definitely better. Enhancement Shaman mostly better. Enhancement Shaman a little bit worse by virtue of just moving from expansion to expansion.
But like certainly if you're concerned about getting into a group, like having a good Ray buff. But, that should help.